Hello and a warm welcome to everyone joining us today. I'm Abhinaya, Marketing Coordinator at Cybernight, and I'll be your host for this Securing Modern Banking Infrastructure with Zero Trust CNAPP with Cybernight and Equinox. This session is all about how financial institutions can secure modern banking infrastructure with a Zero Trust CNAPP approach, strengthening cloud, Kubernetes, and AI security while staying agile. It also highlights how Equinox CNAPP enables continuous risk visibility, runtime protection, and compliance alignment, with practical insights from real banking use cases to reduce exposure and simplify security operations. So, before we get started, here are a few housekeeping notes. Everyone will be on mute so we can keep the flow smooth and distraction free. If you've got any questions, you can drop them in the Q&A box at any time. Our experts will have a really good challenge. We'll tackle as many questions as we can during the session and follow up on the rest afterwards. We're together for about an hour, ending with a dedicated Q&A where you can engage directly with our amazing speakers. Over to you, Abdullah.
Thank you, Abhinay. Thank you so much. Hope that I'm audible to you. Okay. So just let me know if you can hear me well, Abhinay.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
I can
Thank
hear
you.
you. Yeah.
So, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abdullah Shia from Cybernight. I'm a business unit head, handling, Middle East and Africa region in Cybernight. So I'll take you a quick introduction about Cybernight before we jump into Equinox session today. So I will not take much time from you, inshallah. So starting with Cybernight as a value-add distributor, we have been established in 2019, one of the most fast-growing value-add distributor in the META region. We have offices also started in UAE, Saudi, Qatar, Egypt, and South Africa. We have a local presence almost like 14 country. Last year, we have done growth, massive growth with 160 billion revenue, USD. So our focus strategy philosophy based on zero trust, and also we consider ourselves as a technology and advisory services. As I said, this was the establishment in 2019. We are talking about more than 40 plus vendor with more than 400 active reseller partners and more than 500 end user. When it comes to geographical, I just will show you our presence from the region in country-wise. We will show how much we are expanding in the past 1 or 2 years recently. As I said, we are always looking to our mission to protect customers, mitigate the attack surface, and also simplify the threat detections, incident response, and achieve the compliance. This is our main, let's say, mission in Cybernight. When it comes to our portfolio, we build it based on the Zero Trust. So Cybernight has developed its portfolio based on ZTS framework, which addresses all existing gaps within the customer infrastructure. We took this journey, and map it to our portfolio around ZTS. This way, where we are today. So if you look into the main micro parameter of Zero Trust in the left side, we find that there are certain gaps that we have work on the products that comes to fill these gaps from the data security people, device, all these micro parameter of Zero Trust. So here, when it comes to workloads and application security, we have multiple solutions. One of them will be Equinox, which today we are going to highlight and leverage all the capabilities. Quick look over the references in the region across different technologies. So just quick look over the current, let's say, or the old model due to the technological advancement in the cybersecurity, such as digital transformation, cloud adoption, BYOD. The traditional defense perimeter is vanishing, no longer effective. That's why we have moved towards the future, which is Zero Trust. Now, the way that security was done before, there were a lot of flaws. The way that people build network is changing. people are moving to. Now, no longer only on-prem. This means that data is flowing outside the parameters all time. So the cloud, remote user, and everywhere, people used to say what behind the firewall is my parameter. This is not true anymore. Today, the parameter is everywhere because your data is everywhere. Attackers to very easy, let's say attackers very easily move within the network because anyone who has username and password can move within the network. This is the problem with the old style of network architecture. Looking to the zero trust model. So CyberKnight relies on the ZTS framework originally suggested by Forrester. Zero Trust methodology addresses the specific gaps across all 8 microparameters, as I mentioned before. Data, device, the people, network, workloads, visibility, analytics, automation, and orchestration, governance, and risk. These are the main microparameters where we always look to fill the gaps. Last but not least, these are our social media channels. So we are more than happy to to receive any comments or any clarification from your side. Please feel free to reach out to our social media in CyberKnight, and definitely we'll be more than happy to help you. That's it from my side. I will not take much, as I said, from you guys, and I will leave it back to the marketing and Equinox team to take us through the formative session, inshallah. To you. Gaurav.
Thank you. Thank
Yep.
you so much.
Go on, Hasan.
Yeah. All right. Now joining me is Gaurav. Gaurav is the principal product manager at Equinox. And now we'll be actually, going deeper into what are the actual challenges that banks face today, especially in the GCC region, and what we have seen so far, dealing with customers or, talking to partners, etc. Right. Before I just start, right, or set the context, Gaurav would love to hear from you or Abdullah. What challenges have the banks been facing, right? Especially in GCC, since you talk to customers day in and day out. Are there infrastructure challenges, data challenges, tools?
I think your sound get freezed. Aysat, can you repeat back, please?
Yeah, I think that since Abdullah, yourself and Gaurav, right, you talk to a lot of customers, partners day in and day out, right? What do you see are the typical challenges that banks are facing today? Is it purely on the data side of things? Is it AI? Is it on the tool side of things, right? Or is it more on compliances? What are your insights on this?
Abdullah, if you like to comment, then I'll comment afterwards.
It's okay, Gaurav. Yeah, carry on. So I believe Hosab, it's all together, all together, data, and also the AI, all now comes together, said in based on the experience.
Yeah, so I also concur with some of those thoughts that usually the first level of problem that occurs is visibility. Visibility because of hybrid is the true new reality. The workload seems to be on the cloud and also in some shape or form, and it also seems to be on on-prem. That has been where the most of the banks are today. And then it's also a challenge of having a compliance auditing done across different platform, different, you can say, stakeholders, segregated teams. It always becomes a very difficult task to stitch all that context and provide one comprehensive compliance coverage to all. There is a lot of efforts required to go through different stakeholders, team members, and gather that information. So I would say visibility continues to remain a problematic issue. And then second is, of course, the nature of how these workloads are evolving today. So, for example, we started with just VMs and then monolithic architecture. Today, we are moving towards containers, Kubernetes, and probably with the advent of AI, it's a no-brainer that eventually, in some shape or form, every organization, meaning banks, especially in this context, will leverage some kind of AI to either do that, you can say, enhancement or optimization on their current operations, or it can also be towards the customer interface. I know from my discussions in the region that everybody is of the opinion that the AI can shift a lot in the banking industry from the perspective of the user experience. So that is also a kind of a key parameter. So I would say that to sum up, one is visibility across the hybrid infrastructure, and second is probably the advent of mixed workloads that are there.
Interesting. Hybrid infrastructure. So posture management becomes really important, right? And where do you
Yes.
see that Equinox comes in adding the layer of runtime enforcement? Because we have seen a lot of tools typically just stop at detection today.
Yeah, so that has been our you can say genesis of our Equinox company. We have always focused on not just detecting the issue, but we have patents in the area where we can actually mitigate issues proactively without letting some critical workloads to be you can say attacked. So we do not believe in detect and respond. In fact, we say that we believe in proactive security where we can actually prevent those attacks from happening in the first place. So it's not you can say detect and then evade security, or try to do something on that, or maybe try to mitigate afterwards. So the mean time to remediate and all that is always zero in our case if it is with the Equinox Zero Trust security. Now, if I answer the query, it's basically you can say that discovery is there. That is one of our key strengths where we have the visibility across DevSecOps, which we have the coverage for out of the box. We have the security for multi-cloud platform, even if it is a privately deployed platform. We have the visibility towards workloads, any kind of workloads, VMs, bare metal, Kubernetes containers, AI workloads, models, agents, all of that. And at the end, we also have the agentless approach of auditing risk posture in all these contexts, and also do you can say remediation with the use of policy governance, and that we have automated solution for, and that's where our patents are. So yes, we have a detection and we have a proactive remediation in the context of you can say workload security, and that is what we can share more details while going through the presentation.
Yeah. I think that would be the next step. Let's go into a little bit more details and understand things ground up.
Sure. So usually this slide talks to you about different kind of attacks that are happening, and we know that since there are a lot of security incidents that go reported, and sometimes because of the sensitivity of the nature, sometimes it's undergo without any reporting in the public forum. But usually the challenge remains when you have some things on the cloud, the stakeholder management, different assets getting created, deleted, no auditing systems there, shrinking size of the team because of the, you can say, um, trying to manage the cost versus at the same time, you can say efficiency of the companies. They usually have that problem of bandwidth of how many things they can govern and make ensure that the normal operation continues while the security implementation is something added overhead for them. So that continues to remain as a challenge. Now we see that there are compliances that are also required across these multiple hybrid infrastructure that they have and different workloads that they have. So that's all also added complexity, because many organizations might just say that compliance is just one thing that you tick off, but there are layers to it. We need to understand, we'll decipher this, how many types of compliances are there and what one needs to do in order to achieve that and which compliance is right for them. But the problem is not just infrastructure or workload, but also the complexity of the how the organization is managing with the limited bandwidth that they have, plus the different compliances that there are to conform against. So Equinox solution talks about covering the entirety of the workload security, which means that we talk about when your developer starts to build anything in the CI/CD, whether it is GitHub, GitLab, Jenkins, or whatever it is, the CI/CD on-prem deployment mode, or if it is a hosted mode, we can secure that SaaS, test, IAC, secret scan, container scan, and the compliance aspect in the CI/CD as well. The moment it goes to the cloud also, even if it is a privately deployed cloud, we have the visibility to that as well. We support almost 35 plus compliances in that region. And then the newer kind of workloads that are there, which is Kubernetes or AI secure or AI workloads, we also provide a security to that. In fact, AI security or Kubernetes security is one of our differentiators, and glad to take you through on that aspect. But our approach has been very, very simple. Detection in an agentless way across everything. There is no agent required. And only if there is a requirement of a proactive runtime security, a zero trust security, that's where we have for special workloads like AI and Kubernetes or containers for active detection of the threats and prevention of the malicious attacks. We have a lightweight agent and KubeArmor. KubeArmor is one of our open source tool that we have released, and it's a part of CNCF Sandbox project. And today it has more than 2 million users. But the point is this: it's a patent that we have to say that it's the most proactive runtime security solution as compared to any other incumbent vendors today. The likes of what you usually hear in the Kubernetes space, we are better than that. Now, the aspect of how it is all going to function in your system is all about a very methodical approach of a zero trust, you can say, cycle, where initially we just monitor for a good period of 1 month, and then we understand the delta or deviation from the normal behavior, if there are any anomalies, and then the policies gets updated, the golden baseline gets updated, and then the enforcement happens where we do the enforcement on, you can say that if there are any anomalies, they will be mitigated or blocked. That kind of enforcement I'm talking about, and it's based on what we have observed in the observability period. So it's very thought out process, and the cycle of achieving the zero trust is, you can we always say that zero trust is a journey, not a destination. So it needs to continuously happen in that sense. Now, I'm not sure how many of us are aware on this, but let me throw a light on this. So there are multiple types of compliance. I'm not talking about this. So the compliance are categories, right? The categories of the compliance could be around data security. So UAE personal data protection law is one such example of data security. Then there are other categories like information security. That's where you hear the compliance like SAMA compliance, right? Then you have, and there are others also. There are 30 plus, 35 plus compliance that we support. They're all information security. There is a different difference between information security compliance and the data security compliance. That's what I want to highlight. And then, so information security is also PCI compliance, for example. Now, the moment we look at these, Central Bank of UAE, Dubai Financial Services Authority, even FSRA, so all those, they are type of regulatories, and these are different kinds or categories. So what is the difference? Of course, as the name suggests, data protection, it talks about data at encryption, data at rest, how you are securing, data privacy risks, and everything around data. When it comes to the information security, it's network best practices, your financial data, where it is, what are the best practices implemented, auditing, risk access, or anything related to, you can say, cybersecurity, best practices around financial institutions. Now, these regulatories are more on the perspective of, you can say, morality, policies, like, for example, anti-money laundering, or maybe you can say that ensuring that certain practices are governed. While these are much more technical in nature, the information security policies, these are more on a regulatory approach, like data should reside within Gulf region. There should be local talent that should be hired to manage this. There should be ensuring that all these, the financial, there should not be any kind of a forgery done and all that. So these are more on the regulatory side. One of the banks that we are serving in the Middle East are closely following FSRA, and that is what we are trying to also, give them a security for. So the evidences that they collect from our platform becomes one of the key points for their, audit. I hope there is clarity on this. If there are any questions, please let me know. And then it is, of course, tailored for banks because we have been into multiple situations. One of the primary example why we are relevant with banks is air gap deployment. The core security, the cloud security, the runtime security on Kubernetes or VMs, whether it is Windows or Linux, and all that. We can do that in air-gapped on-prem deployment without requiring any kind of external access to the internet, which means that it's a SAMA compliant. And that's how we are better in context of the deployment model with other organizations. We also support SaaS. We also support local SaaS. That, of course, is something that we do. We call sometimes that as a sovereign cloud. But of course, we have one platform. It's completely modularized, whether you want code security, cloud security, container security, VM security, or AI security. It's one platform. Choose any module. API security, SBOM, all of that is a part of our platform. Now, if we cover all this platform, what is our strength? And of course, everything started on the runtime. And you can say that maybe proactive security. So we are really, really differentiated in the area of VM security, Kubernetes security, and AI security. When it comes to the code security and cloud security, it is at par as any other organization that are there, which is providing these services. And we are the most comprehensive platform out there. Of course, AI security continues to be our strength, and true hybrid coverage, whether it is on-prem or whether it is in cloud or whether mix of both. It doesn't matter where you deploy Equinox, whether in customer premise or in a local Middle East region deployed cloud, or if it is in somewhere, probably you can say within the region, but in the, you can say, customer clusters in the same account. We can provide you true hybrid coverage from all of that. Like we have collectors that we can deploy anywhere, and it can actually discover the assets in your maybe endpoints or data centers where you are spinning that up. So our deployment model is flexible, but our coverage on your complexity of the hybrid environment is also there. I think that's enough said on this particular slide. So, of course, we have customers in the region that I've not taken names on that. Maybe later we can have a discussion on that. But we support a lot of compliance, and everything is customizable, and you can always add your own manual controls to this and create a, you can say, comprehensive coverage to those compliances which we have talked about. But that's it. I think from the coverage perspective, we have always a lot to discuss and cover. But let me know if there are any questions.
Hi everyone. If you guys have any questions, there's a Q&A box available. You can drop your questions in there.
Hey, I had this one question been lingering on my mind for a lot of time now, right? Let me just start the Q&A, and I hope that motivates other people to ask their questions as well. So, Gaurav, this is a very general question that comes to us, that there are banks, right? How does Equinox handle banks that have a head HQ and then they have multiple subsidiaries, right, in different GCC jurisdictions? So from a security lens, is Equinox going to give me one instance, or will it be separate instance that I should be monitoring?
Brilliant question, Asaf. I feel that even without living in Gulf, you are a Gulf person altogether. So, okay. Yeah, that's a very usual scenario, right? You have any bank deployed in one region, and but the branches are in other regions and all within the Middle East, of course. So there, what we do is multi-tenancy, which means that every other branch can have their own view of what uh, infrastructure that they want to onboard or the applications that they want to onboard. And within that branch region also, there can be admin and then can be other person with limited privilege, like for example, editor and viewer. There can be few subsets of that also what they can see. So while at the higher level, you have multi-tenancy to segregate all the branches, while you become if you are an admin at a HQ headquarters, then you will be able to go through all those branches. But if a branch wise visibility is there, you can further govern that restricted access by using RBACs, by using grouping of those assets. So all of that is something definitely possible. And organizations in the Middle East are using us for that segregation also. So that model works basically.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, sharing that light. Do we have a few more questions coming in?
Binaya, any questions your way?
No, not any questions yet. Team,
Okay.
if you have any questions, please drop it in the Q&A box. We can wait for a few minutes if there's any questions.
Sure. Okay. There is one question by Anandi. So she asks, I guess, how does Equinox enforce runtime security differently from traditional CNAPP or CWPP tools? Okay. For those who might not come usually across these terminology, CNAPP and CWPP, it's Cloud Native Application Protection Platform or Cloud Workload Protection Platform. CWPP is mostly related to the containers, Kubernetes, or workloads in general, and CNAPP is mostly related to the everything in that, like for example, infrastructure, application, and then everything in that. Now, the question, I'll give you a straight example. There is a project, KubeArmor, that we have launched, and that's where the company Genesis was formed. That has a approach of using LSMs, Linux security modules, for enforcement. If you look at other open source, I'm naming the open source vendors, not any commercial organization, like Sysdig Falco, Ecosec Tracy, Cilium Tetragon, and all that. These are all open source tools for runtime security on VMs or Kubernetes. The approach here for other organization is to use eBPF, which is Extended Berkeley Packet Filter, a kind of a observability in your Linux kernel to detect the executions at the runtime, and very efficiently eBPF does that. We also do the same using eBPF. We detect what is happening, and then we stitch a policy based on that application behavior detection. The problem starts where those organization uses eBPF only for the mitigation. Now the same observability tool which was used for detection, if it will be used for mitigation using a privilege command like eBPF send signal, that's a problematic approach because there will always be a delay. There will always be a time of check plus time to check plus time to response. So talk to, we call that in, there's a very famous in industry terminology, talk to, TOC, TOU, time to check or time under observability and all that. So you'll always respond to that threat or malicious execution with a delay. And that delay is where most of the attackers are able to get the success. Why? Let's suppose I'll take a simple example. If a file deletion happens, which is file unlinked, or a ransomware happens where attacker is trying to delete your files or gain access or copy it, they will be able to run that command successfully. The data will be wiped out before eBPF can take a action of prevention. But with LSMs, Linux security modules, which are already present in the kernel and was specifically designed for this operations, can actually prevent that from happening. We have a demo that we can showcase in the context of how with other organization you'll not be able to protect that data or deletion of that data. But we can because of the LSMs, Linux security modules, and that's where our patent is. Everything is out there in the open, guys. You can take a look on that, how Kubama differs from other organizations in the open source space of runtime security. And if there are any questions, let us know. I hope I have answered your query, Anandi. Let me know if there are some more follow-ups to that. Thank you for that question, though.
Yeah, that was a great question. Anyone else with any questions? You can drop it in the Q&A box, or else we can go ahead and end this session. Okay, team. Thank you everyone for joining. It was a wonderful session together. Looking forward to more sessions with Equinox. We will be sending a brief email with the recording of the session and Equinox team and our team, whoever we can reach out to and you would love to get in touch with. And we're looking forward to it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'm ending the session.
Thank you, Abby. Okay, so
Thank you.
You.